Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, guys. Angela Dryden here, certified life coach. And I am excited again to dive into another 3 codependent behaviors that are spotted along people that have codependent tendencies. So these are codependent behaviors, but I'm offering you also in this video 3 leading lady behaviors that you can exchange for those codependent behaviors. So going from a codependent and becoming a leading lady in your life. That's what I love to do. That's what I do as a coach. I coach ladies who are looking at transforming in their life and to create more of what they want in their life. They want deeper relationships. They want to be able to feel like they're being heard. They want to be present in their life. They want to stop agreeing with everybody and just decide to show up as how they are and be an authentic them. That is what I do to help ladies that are struggling with codependency and help them to transform that into leading lady qualities or behaviors. Qualities, behaviors, similarities there. So I want to dive into another 3 of the codependent behaviors. And again, there are 12 total codependent behaviors. We've already gone through 6. So we're going to hit another 3. So we'll get to 9. And then we'll have another video with the last 3 that we'll be diving into. So let's dive into these. I want to talk about these. So we've got 3 behaviors here. We've got people-pleasing behavior, dependency, and then caretaking. So here are our behaviors that we show up in the world when we're coming from a place of codependency. And I want to explore this with you. So people pleasing is one that's very familiar. We talk about, and these are characteristics of someone with codependency that wear them kind of as a badge of honor, like being dependent, like people need me. I've got to take care of them. I've got to do this, that nobody else can do this caretaking, this dependency, this saying yes to things when you don't want to say yes to things, apologizing for things that you really don't need to be apologizing for, or accepting things that you don't believe in and you don't accept. So doing these things to kind of appease other people, right? We do these things because we want to appease. We don't want conflict in our life. And so for us, we find ways to justify our actions because we take this route thinking that this is the easy way. This is the way that is the best for me and the best for my loved one. So I'm going to stick with this. Is familiar to me, possibly. So I'm choosing these behaviors based on that. So I want to explore. So we've got people pleasing here. So like I was saying, you agreeing with people, apologizing when it's not your fault, saying yes when you don't want to be doing it. These are kinds of things that we do when we people please. And when we come from a place of people pleasing, resentment can backfire on us a lot of the times when we're trying to appease people, because we might say yes to too many things and then we start to get overwhelmed and then we feel discouraged and then we're frustrated and then we're mad because we did that. We're mad at ourselves and then we're mad at other people because we said yes when we should have said no. And so I want to offer you that instead of going into that people-pleasing cycle, there is something else you can choose. And this leading lady behavior is you can choose to be a peacemaker. Now, a peacemaker, actually, one of the behaviors we talked about earlier, the last 3 behaviors we talked about, one of them was unclear boundaries. So having unclear boundaries and replacing that with integrity. So when we start showing up with integrity, that is a quality that helps us become more of a peacemaker in the world and in our lives and in our loved ones' lives. When you come back as a peacemaker, you understand your beliefs and where you stand, and you show up in the world not having to prove anything. You're open to listen, and you're not going to judge based on what you believe, assuming to what you think is right, and understanding that people are allowed to have their opinions and thoughts. And it's up to me if I want to listen or not, and then I can be open to it. And I can choose how I show, right? Nobody cares. One of my favorite sayings is nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. So when you start to choose to love people and truly care for them and be interested and sincerely interested in them, because if you're codependent, you love having people in your lives usually. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes it's scary. Sometimes you have a lot of anxiety when it comes to that. But you truly want relationships in your life that mean something to you. It doesn't, so a lot of people, there's some that want a lot of people in their lives, like they like to be around a lot of people. And then those that just want a few friends that are really good, solid friends. And so when we show up in the world as a peacemaker, we have integrity of where we're coming from. We love who we are becoming. And so we can allow people to be whoever it is that they are and not want to change anything about them. When they have a response to something, and we maybe don't agree with the response, we don't react in a way that is, angry or frustrated or like we need to show or prove something to them. Instead, we allow them to be who they are. And then we may even say, could I express what I think about that? I'd like to be able to share if that's okay. So we show up in the way that we want other people to be comfortable where they are, but we want to let them to know that we are here to listen to them as well, that we care for them, we have compassion for them. So those are kind of the beginning forms of creating that peacemaker-like quality. When you don't have to prove anything, you choose to listen to people and how they're feeling. You don't feel like you have to be validated or you don't have to prove anything. You don't have to justify anything. You don't have to excuse your way out of anything. You just get to show up and be you, and you say less and it means more. So that is a really key within a peacemaker. A peacemaker doesn't need to prove anything. That's a big one. So when we're a people pleaser, we're doing that because we feel like we have to prove that we love people. We have to prove that I care. And if I don't agree, then I don't care. And understanding, no, it's okay that you don't agree with everybody. In fact, you shouldn't agree with everybody because that means that you aren't really being you. If you're agreeing with everybody, then you're just being a chameleon. You're not really truly being you. And you want to show up in the world and be a peacemaker and just be you and be authentic to who you are. All right, so the next one is dependency. Again, that where we start to have the value and we start to put our value on what other people need or want from us. So if other people need us or want us, then we are valuable. And then that's where that dependency comes in, because my child needs me, I'm valuable. And so you get this dependent type relationship where you aren't able to allow them to be them. And you're still kind of doing that, they call it helicopter, right? Parenting. So that type of behavior you show up with instead of allowing them to be them. And so instead of dependency, I want to offer that you take on interdependent. Interdependent. Okay, I hope I spelled that. Anyways, interdependent. So instead of dependency, we choose interdependent, which means that we see value in what they have to say and do, and we see value in what we have to say and do. We don't see that because they need us, we're more valuable. We already know we're valuable. We choose to give to them because out of purely just wanting to give, not because that makes us valuable to them, because we think they're going to love us more, because we think they're going to show up around our house more, which in the truth is, if we truly, one of my favorite sayings with Al-Anon was about letting go. And so letting go, it's not giving up on that relationship, but it's letting go and letting them make their choices. And so when we become interdependent, we allow other people to make their choices. And in fact, we we actually ask them for suggestions. We kind of create more dialogue with them, and we're more interested in them instead of thinking that we have to be part of them in order to be valuable. We see that they are value on their own and we are value on our own. We don't need to be intertwined to be more valuable. We can be just as value right here. We're not going to be more valuable here. We're 100% whole right here. We also are 100% whole here. So understanding that it's not a 50-50 and now we're 100%. No, because with dependency, we start to think that, right? Well, we're 50 here and 50 there. So when we're together, we're 100%. And understanding that they're 100% without me and I'm 100% without me. And together we're 100%. So again, that's that understanding that people are 100% valuable. Who they are, individually, alone, they are 100% worthy. They don't, their value isn't added on more or less than because of what they do, because of what they make, because of who, you know, who they're with, the people they associate with. That doesn't make them more valuable. What makes them valuable is they already are. So that's something really kind of, I love to kind of explore for myself when I'm thinking as well. But understanding that interdependent means that I believe that they're 100% value exactly where they are. I don't have to add to them. I just need to show up in the world because I show up in a way that makes them feel like things are possible, so that they choose to show up in a way that makes them feel like things are possible. So that would be the difference between dependency and interdependent. So caretaking is the next one, right? So we want to do everything for them. One of the things too that sometimes will be seen is that, let's say, a child is away for a while and they come back home, and then the mom starts like doing mom things for them, even though the child is older. So we start going into that mode. And there's nothing wrong with making them feel at home and making them feel comfortable, like making them a good meal. But one thing I always want people to explore, or I ask clients to explore, is that, are you going to show up that same way with your spouse? Are you going to show up that same way with your friends that come to your house? And not make it that it's different because this person is coming home. When we start to do that, again, it's that chameleon thing. We're just trying to adapt to other people instead of actually showing up as authentically us, of who we really are. And so that can get really blurry for us. And then we can be unsure of who we are because we realize we're different with this person and this person. You can act differently around people, because they see things differently, and, and it's kind of fun for you then. But to get really clear on who it is you are when you show up is important. And it's important that for yourself to know that. And it's important to make those deeper relationships and connections with people is when they know that too about you and how you're, showing up in the world. So when it comes to caretaking, again, that's that thing where somebody comes to your house and then you start doing those motherly things. And then I just say, just question yourself where that's coming from and what's going on there for you. Because, what's happening in that shift. And caretaking, instead of doing caretaking, I want to exchange that. I just kind of had a brain blop. So instead of caretaking, we're going to go for personal responsibility. All right. So caretaking to personal responsibility. Like I was saying, when somebody comes to your house and you start doing, because somebody can come to your house and you can make them a special meal when they come. There's nothing wrong with that. That's totally good. You can, be interested in them and do those types of things. But I'm going to ask you to explore, if you continue to do that for a long period of time, is that coming from an authentic place, or are you trying to make them feel like they're taken care of because you don't want them to feel worried or scared, or you don't want them to feel insecure, or that they're not worthy of something. So when we go from caretaking and we start to do that, trying to think that by doing the caretaking, we're building up somebody, replacing that with personal responsibility, this leading lady character, and understanding that they have their side of the street to keep clean and I have my side of the street to keep clean, that I don't need to intermix it again, that I'm already 100%, they're already 100%. And when you teach, when you're exploring that for yourself and how it is you want to show up in the world, and you say, okay, I want to be able to let them take responsibility for their actions, and I don't need to come in and save them. I don't need to overly take care of them, and really kind of figuring out that line for yourself. And that's an important thing, because in all of these different behaviors, these codependent behaviors, there are some things within them that are good qualities, like taking care of somebody is a good thing to do. It's when we start to take care of people and we don't allow them to take care of themselves. And that's when we need personal responsibility. And that line gets blurred so much that we start showing up in the world and we are unsure of ourselves because we're unsure of the other person. Because now we're connected, right? We have that dependency now on them. Now we're connected to that. We think our value is only valuable if they need us. So this is where these behaviors, like I said, codependents kind of wear these behaviors as a badge of honor. Like, this is me. I'm a caretaker. I'm, that the dependency, like, well, it's because they need me in their life. I'm a people pleaser, or I just want everybody to feel good. I want everybody to be happy. I want everyone to feel comfortable. And I want to offer you something to think about, is that when you're wanting everybody to feel okay, explore that in yourself and go, why is it that I think that I can make anybody feel anything? What power do I hold that if I do this action, that I know that they're going to feel this way? And because understanding that people get to make their own choices of how they perceive you when you show up in the world. They can see that action as being something that was helpful, or they could see it as something that was unhelpful. And that is their position and their right. They get to make those choices. And understanding that you don't want people to take away your choice of what you get to choose to do and how you show up in the world. And when somebody says something to you, just like with the people pleasing, right? If you don't agree with people, you want to be okay that you cannot agree with them, and that that's okay. It doesn't mean that you dislike or you don't care about somebody because you would disagree with something that they see value in. Understanding that they're allowed to see value in whatever they want to see, and you're allowed to see value in whatever you want to see it as. So I just want to offer these 3 behaviors that I consider to be leading lady behaviors, behaviors of when you show up in the world, that you have a presence and an energy that is not just confident, but you're at ease with yourself. You're not trying to prove anything. You love who you're becoming. You know your faults. And it's okay if people point them out to you because you know them. And you don't find it to be a harsh judgment because those are things you're working on yourself every single day. And you're okay with that. So when you start to show up in the world and you understand, you're good and you're bad, and you're 100% love, you're good and you're bad, and you have good days and bad days, you have bad habits and good habits, but you love yourself anyways. That's the energy that a leading lady does when they show up in the world. They're a peacemaker. They're not trying to appease. They're interdependent. They understand that that person is 100% worthy, and I'm 100% worthy right here. I don't have to do anything for that person to be more worthy. They don't have to do anything for me to be more worthy. They already are. So that interdependent, separating, personal responsibility. These are things that I've got to take care of on my side of the street. Those are things that you can take care of on your side of the street if you so desire and want to. It's not up for me that you decide not to, that I come in and I take care of that for you. I allow you to go ahead and go through the process and the growth that you get to experience by being personally responsible. and the joy that is a really good place, and you love being in that place, and you love seeing other people be in that place. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope this was helpful. So these are 3 other codependent behaviors that we sometimes wear as a badge of honor as codependents, and understanding that these 3 leading lady behaviors are ones that we truly can wear as a badge. And we don't even have to prove any of this to anybody, that we already know we're 100% worthy and that we're striving to become better each and every day in our lives. Well, take care, ladies. Take care of you, and we'll see you next time. Bye.